World Course Tour 14 continued at Circuit Giles Vellenuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, for the running of the Canada Dry 300. This is one of the most unusual tracks in Town 3. A lot of turns can turn into unpredictable wrecks, and a lot of surprises on the way, so that's why this track has hosted every season of the NASCAR Pole Mount Cup Series. And right off the bat, it didn't take too long for these drivers to pile up here in Giles Vellenuve. Everyone gets piled up for the first caution of the day. And after like 14 seasons, you'd think they'd get used to these corners here at this track. But, well, it's been the same old, I guess the AI never knows how to navigate through this properly here at this track. This has always been a mystery to them. Every turn, every corner. Robert Piet gets hit hard, one of the hardest hitters of the race. And green flag came out. Leah Walker took the lead, even though Justin Robert started on the pole. That's quick. That goes to show you how quickly things can turn in an instant at this track. Leah already pulling away from the other drivers in the pack, and she gets off to a good start down the carousel. But again, the wrecks took over. Jacob Lawler spun through the S-curve right there. And strangely, he didn't leave out some smoke. I'm not sure how that was possible, but Zachary Chambers, a big hop through that corner, and a big wreck with the 34 Ryan Acosta in it as well. Oh man, a big pileup already. Pit stop shuffled the field. The first set of stops shuffled the field a bit. It gave Mitchell Riggs the lead. Daniel Coffey running second. Abby Saxon third. Riggs trying to hold on through the very tough corners, but Sam Rogers didn't have the best of luck. He was from the top 5. He spins out in the corner, gonna lose a lot of precious spots, and it continues. Eric Powers gets piled in. Everyone getting piled in and spinning out. I guess that's the part where the most wrecks have taken place here today. Anthony Lopez, nowhere to go. He just slips on the corner. And Cooper Saron does the Jacob Lawler and spins out, well, halfway through though, but gets stuck on the wall and is not able to escape. Guess his tire got stuck there. And here's Mason Powers. Ooh, Cody Hagan. He meets with Cody Hagan and David Johansson and Dion Scott and Leah Walker. Man, what a pileup. And Lopez's day gone from bad to worse. The next couple laps, he spins out on the same corner as Cooper Simon and Jacob Lawler did. And that corner has been a deadly corner. And here down the final S-curve, and Brandon Nichols gets wrecked near the start-finish line. More drivers pile up just before the start-finish line. Man, oh man, it has always been a wreck fest, a battleground, so to speak, here at Circuit Giles Vellenuve. But Mitchell Riggs is liking it because he is still the leader. Oh no, Dan Coffey on the same corner, having trouble navigating through that. Even the biggest experts have trouble going through this course. This course does not have any friends with any drivers. And boy, oh boy, Sean Harple gets nearly turned, but he saves it. Nearly turned by Pichu. Oh man, I thought he would escape through that, but he got spun later on after making a great save. Luke Walker and Alex Guerrera got into their own mix-up right there. They got together and they made contact and spun each other out, but they were still able to race to the line. They were still able to race. So was Sean Harple, but he lost a couple of spots. Less than 10 to go here in Montreal, and Leah Walker got spun out by her own teammate. How does that even happen? I guess she got in the wrong place at the wrong time. Johnny Garner troubled near the final corner as well. So a lot of these drivers having trouble at this track. Second set of stops underway. No, Ragal was supposed to lead on the restart, but he got spun on the corner. That shows you how unpredictable this track really is. Ooh, Coffey gets second place, and he might even get the lead from Cody Hagan. And Cody took the lead after Alex Ragal spun out on the carousel, and he had nowhere to go. And Dan Coffey just couldn't get enough momentum to pass the 24, and Cody Hagan's going to hold him off on that corner. My goodness, a lot of twists and turns as expected in Montreal, but never do we ever see those twists like this. And man, this has been an interesting race so far. It's the next to last race of the chase, and then we head to 349. The track is not friendly either. Not as friendly as Montreal, and in fact, it's even worse. You will see how it's worse when we get to that track. Luke Walker in a battle with Anthony Lopez. These drivers have so much damage from the incident, you'd think they'd be done for the race. But they're actually running for the win, believe it or not, with all the drivers lapped and retired. There's still a few drivers left competing for the win. And Cody Hagan's competitors came down to pit road, not able to survive another lap and damaged, and massive damage already. Cody Hagan out in front, but he'd have to come down pit road as well. And they seem to speed into pit road, it looks like. I'm not sure how they did not get penalized for speeding through. There was probably a high pit road speed limit. The speed limit at the track is pretty high, so because they're going in pretty fast, faster than usual at other tracks. That allows David Johansen to take the lead after drivers came down to pit road. By the way, we haven't had a caution in a while. This has been the longest green flag run we've ever had at CGV, and pretty unusual. There was always a caution every lap, usually at this track, but apparently I guess the cautions took a break after the second half of the race. So, well, it's good news for these drivers, especially for Avi Sachs. He's going for the lead against David Johansen. These two are surviving. They're still the only survivors to compete for the win. Sachs goes down the corner. He's using another path, trying to find momentum to get that lead away from the 48. These drivers are not in the chase, so one of them could get into the chase with a win here at Montreal. And Avi Sachs clears David Johansen for the lead. What a move he made before we got to the S-curves. And Avi Sachs takes the lead. He won at this track twice, believe it or not, so he knows the ins and outs of Montreal. He could become just the second driver with 3 wins at this track, joining Charles Sandford. White flag is out with 1 to go. Since passing Johansen with 4 laps to go, no challengers has been able to step up against Avi Sachs. Johansen still second behind 2 seconds of the 26, and his teammate, by the way, the 23, Justin Robeds, is running in third. Ooh, Johansen hits the wall, and looks like Robeds is going to try for second, trying to make this a BK Racing 1-2. Here they come down the slow corners, where a lot of drivers have been wrecking today. No! Justin Roberts gets loose, and he loses grip on the steering wheel. And he loses the battle for second. What a shame. He was trying to make this race a 1-2 finish for BK Racing, and it just went out the door after he just spun his tires too hard on that corner trying to get second from David Johansen, and he just couldn't hold on to his wheel. But coming off the final corner, Sachs does not have to pit, and Avi Sachs is going to score his 14th career NASCAR Beaumont Cup Series win here in the Canada Dry 300 at Circuit Giles Vellenuve. What a win for the 26. He is in the chase. A much needed win. It's going to set up a close battle for the final 2 spots in the chase for the championship. You'll see in a little bit. And here's Roberts coming in third. Rest of the field after this massive calamity of a race in Montreal. But Avi Sachs becomes a winner, a 3-time winner at this track to be exact. So congratulations to him on getting the win and make it into the chase. And now your chase scenarios and point standings heading into the final race before the chase, 349. So there's Avi Sachs in victory lane. Let's take you now to the points and chase scenarios set up for 349. Here we go. Alrighty guys, before we get to 349, let's show you the drivers that have already locked their spots into the chase. The drivers with 2 wins that are locked in are Daniel Coffey, Devin Winston, Argel Alonso, Angel Navarro, Nathan Hudson, Zach Chambers, and Sam Rogers. And the drivers with one win, but are high enough in the points right now to lock themselves in the chase, are Dion Scott, Daniel Voyles, Jordan Davis, Avi Sachs, Roman Rahal, Isaiah Bernesh, and Dylan Young. You see right here, Dion Scott's actually the points leader, but that points lead's soon to be wiped away unless if he wins again. Here at 349, he'll have to share the points lead with all these drivers, unless if one of them has their third win of the season here at 349. And now let's show you the most interesting battle of them all heading into the race. 15th and 16th, the final two spots to the chase. Jacob Lawler, he has 469 points. Johnny Garner owns the final spot right now, 467 points, just a 2-point difference between these two. And the other two drivers with wins but are out of the top 16 in terms of race winners. Amy Shelley, 452, just a mere 15-point difference behind Gardner, and 17-point difference behind Jacob Lawler. And Robert Piet, who is would be 18th in terms of the standings of drivers with wins. But this applies to drivers with wins. This doesn't apply to the overall standings. This applies to the race of the chase standings of winners in terms of where they're standing right now. By the way, so Robert Piet is 21 points back of Johnny Garner and 23 points back of Jacob Lawler. So for Shelley, in order for Shelley to get into the chase, she needs to finish 15 or more spots ahead, at least 15 or more spots ahead of Johnny Garner. That's if Garner does not lead a lap at 349, because I think leading a lap is a bonus point, or not winning the pole or leading the most laps. Unless if that happens, Shelley would have to finish 15 points higher at least over Johnny Garner to be in the chase. If she can, she'll need to finish 17 points or higher or more to beat Lawler and knock Garner out and get Shelley and get Lawler into the 16th and final position if she could do it. Still a possibility, and if they were to be tied, by the way, Amy Shelley owns the tiebreaker. She has 3 top 5s, and Garner only has 2 top 5s. That's if Garner doesn't finish in the top 5 at 349, then Shelley would own the tiebreaker. For Robert Piet to pass through, Robert Piet would have to pass over Shelley, definitely at least 6 points or 6 positions or higher than Shelley, maybe, if that is possible, and he would have to finish 21 points ahead or higher than Johnny Garner. If they were to stay tied, again, he owns the tiebreaker. Piet actually has 4 top 5s. Garner has 2 top 5s. Lawler only has 1 top 5 the entire season, and that was his win. So he would lose both tiebreakers. If there is a weird situation where we face Shelley, Piet, Lawler all tied, but I don't think that's possible. That's probably possible, but I'm just saying, well, 1 point could go to one of these two for the pole. Another point could go for the points in terms of, no, not the points, in terms of leading a lap or leading the most laps, and Lawler could get the regular position or maybe even get another point itself. That might be possible to have a tie between Shelley, Piet, and Lawler, but if they have a tie, if they somewhat all tied somehow, then it would be Piet having the highest tiebreaker with the most top 5s. Then it would be Amy Shelley, then Johnny Garner, and then Jacob Lawler in that order, in that tiebreaker order. But, well, I'm just saying how, if in case a tie somehow happens in the final 2 positions. But, however, there is one more catch before we go. If another driver without a win wins at 349, that is ahead of them in the standings, that is ahead of all 4 of them possibly in the standings, then that one driver without a win who got a win at 349 will be added to the chase, will be into the chase automatically, depending on he or she standing high in the standings ahead of all four drivers. If that were to be the case, then Johnny Garner would be knocked out, and Jacob Lawler would still be in if Lawler could finish higher than Johnny Garner, and Shelley and Piet as well, if that is the case. If that is the case, then yeah. The highest non-winner so far in the standings is Mitchell Riggs, who is in third in the points, but does not have a win, and therefore he's not in the chase. He can't compete for the championship if he's not in the chase. He needs to win at 349 to do so. Anyway, I do apologize for this being a little longer than I thought it would be, but I just wanted to explain to you as best as I can the chase scenarios I'm setting up for Season 14. You see all these driver names, all locked into the chase. They're safe into the chase. But at 349, it's going to be down to at least 4 drivers. Jacob Lawler, Johnny Garner, Amy Shelley, Robert Piet battling for the final 2 positions for the chase. And we might have ourselves another non-winner at 349. If a non-winner wins, that is ahead of all 4 of them in the standings. If a non-winner wins at that point, that winner will get locked into the chase, and it would be 3 of the and only one of these 4 would advance over to the chase, would make it to the chase barely. So we'll keep an eye on these 4 drivers at 349 as much as possible, and we'll see you there for a wild race at the track where the Turn of Death hosts the race. And let me tell you, the Turn of Death doesn't take it too easy on many of these drivers, especially with leaders. So watch out for that. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed today's race from Circuit Giles Vellenuve. Congrats to Avi Sachs on the win. By the way, he's in the chase now, so woohoo. And we'll see you guys at 349. It's going to be a fun weekend. We'll see you then.